All right, so I'm excited to introduce to you Miss Kristi. Kristi is my success partner, and she has a huge list of credentials that I was astonished to read when she sent them to me today. So I want to go over those. She is a 3-star diamond coach. She just had her 2-year coachversary on 9/27. So she's only been doing this for 2 years. She is a 2015 Premier Coach, which is a big deal. She was ranked number 293 in 2015 out of 450,000 coaches. So that's impressive, if you ask me. She became a Success Club 10 legend last month, and she's part of her Birmingham Market Council. So Kristi is going to be talking to us tonight about finding our avatar and really honing in on attraction marketing. So Kristi, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank y'all for having me. And again, I apologize if I'm like yawning, but I actually have a PowerPoint, so y'all won't see me on the big screen, but I'm going to share that with y'all if you don't mind. And while I'm getting this pulled up, I definitely agree with going to Super Saturday. It will rock your, as she told you. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk. I can't multitask. Okay, but yeah, Joel and Jericho is actually going to be at ours on Friday night. Ours is usually on Saturday, but it got moved to Friday just so that they could come. They're literally going to like 6 different places that weekend. So, they're going, but it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. Okay, so yes, when I talked to Rachel, we talked about attraction marketing, and it's a big deal. Like me and my team actually just revisited this topic this week also, in that a lot of our team doesn't really have their avatar created, and it's so important to know who you're talking to. So this is just a breakdown right here of what is attraction marketing. And attraction is, pretty much what it says, the action of trying to evoke interest in something. Sharing is what you like or what you feel like your audience will like. Marketing is what tends to be the scarier part of everything because it's promoting and selling. So that's what people tend to get scared when it comes to that. But it's just like, that goes back to, I know y'all probably heard the analogy before. If somebody asks you in a restaurant, hey, do you want dessert? Well, usually I've done stuff my face too much, so I'm probably going to say no. But even though I love sweets, but still, they don't get their feelings hurt, when they're just doing their job. So that's how we have to think of our marketing strategy. And then just a little brief synopsis down there at the bottom, saying attraction marketing is the use of marketing techniques specifically designed to tell the customer or prospect what it is exactly that you're doing and how you can benefit them. So that's what that is. And I think too often times that people are, and even I'm guilty of this still to this day, I'm like, dang, Kristi, that's like too beach body. It needs to be more Kristi, why they're like, there's 475,000 coaches. Why should I be promoting Beachbody when they could just go to beachbody.com or sign up with anybody else? I have to share why I'm different and why I can provide value to them. So that's the missing piece, the important piece. Okay, this. And my team, one of my coaches actually was talking to me today about, sometimes we get those dreaded cancellation emails. It happens. It's part of it. It's never fun and never gets easier. Thank God for PD to help us cope with that just a little bit better, because I can promise you it's not that you are a bad coach. It's just maybe that they're not ready. I've even had people come back around later. But she was like, I can't really convince her to stay. I hate the word convince. I hate it because we should never, as bad as we want everyone on our team and everybody in general to succeed and reach their goals, because we know the potential of what this opportunity can provide, we should never convince them. They may just not be ready. It could be a timing issue, or it just could be that, if this worked for everybody, we wouldn't have a job doing it, you know? So it's kind of a good thing that not everybody likes it, but never feel like you have to convince somebody. You're trying to help them, and most importantly, you are trying to develop a trusting relationship with them, and help them and let them know that you're truly, genuinely interested in their wants and their needs. So why is it so important? It creates an endless supply of quality leads. You're more apt to find and surround yourself with the right people, your target market, instead of those people that you really feel like you have no connection with and you can't relate. I love this quote that I found at the bottom. When you believe that you deserve, I can't really see it, my thing's covering it up, but I think it's like deserve the best. It's so, like, when people think that they don't deserve something, then they're not going to reach their goals. We have to believe and know that we are worth investing in, and that, you know, there's always room for more and more improvement. So we can accomplish anything if we believe in it truly enough. Okay, so how do you know your target? And this is something that even my target audience now might be slightly different than what it was 2 years ago or even a year ago. I mean, there might be some things the same, but some things are going to change too, and that's something we have to constantly reevaluate. So this is like what I was telling my team that we talked about the other night. We should all take the time and write down specific characteristics about ourselves. Like, sometimes we're so vague and, you know, we're just like, I just want to help people, or you know, that struggle with weight loss. But what about that person? What is their emotional state? What do they do for a living? Are they married? Do they have kids? Do they love pets? Like, I put a few things about me. You know, I'm married. I have a lab. I used to be a full-time nurse. A history of anxiety and depression. I love wine. I love peanut butter. I am still occasionally a stress eater. I mean, somebody stresses me out, I'll go binge and eat a whole jar of peanut butter at one time. You know, what it is about you that people can relate to. I mean, so often, and that's the hard things. That's the hard things to share. Yeah, when we lose 5-10 pounds, oh, we're excited. We want to share that. But what if we gained a pound or something bad, not even with our health and fitness, but just something in general, something that stressed us out? You know, that's real life. That's what people can truly relate to. And honestly, my posts like that and ones I've seen from my team get more traction than anybody else, because people like to know that they're not alone. So it's just huge to be vulnerable with that. Put it into action, and that's just going back to share that, be consistent, show up. And I loved how Rachel is the one that was telling me before, she like went and unfollowed all the coaches, because it is, and it's so easy to get caught up in the comparison game. And they're like, oh, well, she made this post and she got so many likes and comments off of it, and here I am doing something similar and I might have got 2 likes. And then we start beating ourselves up, and then usually it leads to us regressing and like, oh, this just ain't for me or something like that. But no, that's not it. We cannot compare ourselves. We don't know their story, you know, and it might be that it's not really our story to share. Maybe, you know, it might just be a gut check for us that, you know, maybe that wasn't really me. Or, you know, ask yourself, are you being true to who you are? And that goes back to what I was saying about binging. Obviously, I'm not lying about it if it's on here a couple of times. Ad campaigns, I threw that on there, but that's, I don't know. A couple on my team, you know, if you have a like page, I do recommend having a like page. It's always beneficial to have, you know, but if you do not, it does take some time to grow a like page, and running and creating ads are usually the best way to do that, but it does, you know, cost money. But that goes back to also, as I told my team, don't feel like you have to be on every social media platform. You know, a personal page, a like page, Instagram, a Pinterest, Twitter, good Lord, there's so many different areas. And instead of trying to show up and be present everywhere, pick 1 or 2 things that you like and you feel strong at, and you just go full force and you show up and you show out in those areas, to where, you're exceeding, everywhere else. So take advantage of your strengths is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so you want to attract you. That's kind of what I talked about earlier. So if you're going to make a post, read it and then reread it again. If it's something that doesn't catch your attention, just stop there and don't even post it. Again, like I tell my team, never post anything without some form of picture or graphic. Like if it's just words, it's probably going to just be scrolled right on by. It's got to be a scroll stopper post. And even still to this day, I still use memes and funny stuff, and sometimes it does do well, but the more personable you can be and real and with you and your family, that's the ones that are mostly going to get the most engagement. People want to see you. But tell your story with those posts. Get inside of their head, make that emotional connection. Oftentimes, even still, like I was telling Rachel, like I'm not good at this. I'm not creative at making posts, and I will overthink something so bad when we don't have to. Just go off the cuff sometimes and relate to them with those vulnerable posts instead of just skimming the surface though. How has it changed your life? What is it that you want? How can you connect with them? Like, what is their desires in life? Are they unhappy? Like, I've been talking to this one girl for months now, and she is miserable at her current job and wants to be a coach so bad, but she is so scared because of the unknown, because you don't know how much money you're going to make every week and stuff like that. And I'm like, you can't be captivated by that fear, but you have to believe in yourself. And I'm not, like I said, you don't want to feel like you have to convince her. I encourage her and let her know what I found most helpful and how it's affected my life and how I believe it can do hers as well. But, it's just a timing thing. Because I asked her, if this is our one chance, our one life to live. We don't get no curtain call. There's no second chance. So what if you don't make that change, take that leap of faith and put yourself out there and get outside of your comfort zone? Then where do you see yourself 5 or 10 years from now? Is it the same place? If it is, then what are you willing to do to change that for you and your family? And that's what got me started. I was miserable as a nurse. I never got to see my husband. I was ill and stressed out all the time. And I knew at some point I had to draw that line. Was it easy? Heck no. But has it been worth it? Definitely. Are there hard days? Still definitely. But it's well worth the more, beneficials than it is struggles. So that just goes back to, what is it that they're scared of? What are they thinking about when they wake up in the morning, when they lay their head down at night? Heck, even what do they search on Google and Pinterest? What do they spend their time and their thoughts? What do they consist of? Just be specific, be you, be true to yourself. And this is what I tell my team too. If you're just trying to attract anybody and everybody that's walking around, you are honestly talking to nobody. And with every post and everything you say and do, you need to have that specific target market in mind. If not, then everybody's just going to bypass it, So like I know a lot of people struggle with PCOS. And so they'll, talk specifically to people with that, so whatever it may be. This is just a few things that you can focus on when thinking about your target market. You can never be too specific. What are their interests? What they do for their hobbies, for fun, characteristics about them. Do they graduate school? Are they still in school? What do they do as their full-time job? What is it that they're known for? What are you good at? Do you like to travel? Married, kids, pets, what stresses you, what do you watch on TV, what kind of music do you listen to? Like, that's just a few things, but just on and on what it is that they like or are scared of, and you can relate to on that. This I kind of hit on a while ago, is about picking a specific market channel, one or two, instead of spreading yourself all over the place. Find where you're good at and just go full force. Like at one point I tried to, I love Pinterest. I love looking at Pinterest, but I'm not good at like posting on Pinterest. Like I'm one of those stalker people on there. I don't post on my personal page much anymore, but for somebody who doesn't have a like page, or I would focus on my personal page, so it's going to be different for everybody. I'm primarily 90% Instagram, and there's some coaches who hate Instagram. So there's no right or wrong answer. It's just where you feel strongest, where you're most comfortable, and you can be you and go all out. Oh, YouTube, we won't even go there because Rachel knows how I'm about my videos. That's still a stress factor for me. Okay, we kind of talked about the scroll stopping and how to do that, and asking yourself, does it catch your attention? If not, then it's not going to attract your target audience's attention either. How often are you doing that big right hook, and sprinkling those call to actions in? Make sure that you always address their needs. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Like, even for me, I used to be like, oh, I don't want to share my struggles because I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy or whatever. But that's not it. It is all about how you word it. You share the struggle, but then you put that little twist on there and what you learned from it, how you benefited from it. You always end with that positive note at the end. It's like providing a solution for the struggle that you're facing. It's part of that finding the message out of the mess, or whatever they say. Making yourself visible. Like, I know it's so hard for people are busy. They have full-time jobs, they have families, kids to take care of, or whatever it may be, but we have to show up every single day, because I can promise you, even if you're getting 1 or 2 likes on a post, nobody, or heck, maybe no likes or no comments, I've done that too, but people are watching you, and it's usually not to 6 months or a year down the road where they're like, all right, I've been following you, I see what you're doing, and I'm ready. Very, very rare is it those first initial contacts that they're going to be like, oh yeah, let's do this. They're watching you and seeing if they really can trust you and if you're the real deal. Because there's people out there. I shared it the other day. It made me feel pretty good that one of my challengers was like, thank you so much for checking in with me. She's like, so many people are trying to sell stuff and you just never know. And she was like, you checking in to see how I'm doing just, feels good. And then that's what it's about, is forming those relationships and, being there for them, developing the trust. But going back to the posting side of things, I've always had a non-negotiable of 3 times a day. I push to post 5 times a day. Schedule those posts if you need it. If you know you're going to be running like a dog the next couple of days, then schedule them. I use Hootsuite, but there's Buffer and other stuff that you can use. I think you can set it up on Facebook. I know on your like page you can schedule it to post at a later time too. So there's so many resources and ways to do that. And pay attention to your timing of your day. When are you getting the most, especially this is good if you have the like page, or if you have an Instagram. My personal opinion is if you build there at all, I strongly recommend you converting it over to a business account so you can see those insights. It's just in your settings. But that way you can see, again, if you're having much growth on your page and what posts are getting the most engagement there. And as I was talking about earlier today, I don't know if it was you, Rachel, or not, but like what I post on Instagram might not be my best on Facebook. Like on Instagram, I can post funny stuff, inspirational stuff, and it get like 300-400 likes. I post that on Facebook and I get like 3 on a good day. But then on Instagram, I can post about my husband or my dog or whatever and get like 50 compared to the 400 of the funny stuff. I post it on Facebook and I get 30 compared to the 3. So it's like depends on your market and where you're posting, and you'll learn that as you go, and just monitor it. And then of course, I know y'all probably heard before, to keep your accounts public. You want everybody to be able to see you and find you. If not, if everything's blocked, then how do they learn about you and know who you are? Freemiums are always good to have, especially newer coaches, but heck, even as seasoned coaches. It doesn't matter where you're at. Always something to provide them so that they don't feel like they're just being sold. It hasn't been good after coming off a vacation, but that's no excuse. I like to work out in the morning times. That makes me feel better. It gets me going. And so I had like a spreadsheet of all kinds of tips on how to get up and get going and, have a more productive day that way. But there's so many things, we tend to overthink that stuff too. Heck, it could just be that you create a free group to provide support for people that way, or whatever it may be. Create a YouTube video or a live video sharing helpful tips. But something to provide value to them. Third-party tools. I know a lot of y'all are already using Teamsy. I recently swapped over to that as well. I was using the Automatic CEO, which I love, but they're just a little different. I like how Teamsy helps me with my conversations not fall through the cracks so much. Aweber I've never used, Google. But using those third-party tools, it's never too early to start collecting emails from people, because what if Facebook shuts down? Heck, what if you get put in jail? Yeah, it happens. Thank God mine was only for a couple of hours. I would have needed a Xanax or something. But this is recorded. Okay, don't just bleep that part. But having the email collector, so that you can still get in touch with people. If not, where do all them people go? We would be in a hot mess. But just having a backup plan there is super helpful. I have a guy, and for the longest time for my followings, I spent so much time doing that myself, liking, commenting, following, yada yada, and I have an awesome assistant who helps me with that now, so I can focus more on my conversations and where I can invest the best use of my time. That's it as far as that. Let me stop sharing my black screen. Okay, but if y'all have any questions at all. Anyone?
Low numbers today. It's all right. So thank you so much, Kristi. Super helpful information and a good reminder, even for us a little more seasoned coaches, about providing value and things like that. I've never heard it called a freemium, so I love the idea of creating kind of something to give to your followers and things like that. So that's awesome. And yes, if Facebook shuts down, I need a Xanax as well. That happened to me the other day. Yeah. Stroked out. So super helpful tips. For the team members that are on the call, I'm going to post in the page. I'm going to have us define our avatars together. So I have not revisited this in a while myself, so I'm looking forward to doing that too. So I want us to come up with 10 different topics or whatever categories that you would describe yourself with. What relates to you? If your market, quote unquote, or if someone were to post on your Facebook, you asked your friends, what do you think of when you think of me? What would they say? And so we're going to do that together. I'll post it in the team page, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. So that definitely was this is a good segue into that, Kristi.
That's exactly what, although there was like 4 people post, but I can show y'all real quick if you want. Like in my team page, we was like, post your avatar so that when you make a post, we can be like, hey, you were not really focusing toward who you said you wanted to, or, you know, maybe you are.
Really great job. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, to help, and let me see if my computer's going to act right. I was panicking before I logged on. I was like, oh my gosh, it just froze. Okay, let's see if it'll get there. Sorry, I'm not like tech savvy at all. Okay, where am I at? Okay, let's see. Okay, so like Glenna, she's like, her avatar, can y'all see this okay?
Yeah.
Okay, like her is a mother of 2 to 4 children between ages, you know, be specific with the age. Is it women or men that you want to target? 25 and 50. She likes to cook for her family and is very family oriented. Her kids are her life, and she wants to bring in a little income while staying home with the kids. She doesn't drink much, and I guess she followed that up because I was like, I'm a wino. And so she was like, I don't really drink. And I'm like, oh, oops. Okay, has anxiety and depression. But wants to overcome it naturally. She has a major weakness for carbs. She loves music and isn't materialistic, but wants to go on adventures with her family. She's shy until you get to know her and struggles with confidence. She loves working out, but lacks the motivation and needs some encouragement and support. She loves animals, especially dogs. She needs something for herself and is determined to get out of her comfort zone. This was mine. I just did another one. I kind of talked about women, married, difficulty having children, family-oriented, dog lover, loves to travel, history of being overworked and underpaid, healthcare workers, nurses, history of anxiety, depression, but willing to battle it out, struggles with confidence, competitive, loves a good challenge, goal-oriented, thrill-seeker, emotional stress eater, struggles with clean eating, massive sweet tooth, doesn't like to cook, loves wine, loves peanut butter, enjoys working out, loves the outdoors and being active, coachable, team player. There was a few more, but that's just kind of an idea of what y'all can do. And I think it'll be, super helpful for y'all to share that with each other, to hold each other accountable. And I think, too, you'll be surprised at how much y'all have in common with each other, too. So it's a pretty cool thing.
I love it. I'm excited about doing that together because we've been talking about it, but we haven't actually taken the plunge. So I think we're going to do that with all our new coaches. This is a great time to help each other figure out our avatar together. So awesome. Kristi, thank you so much for speaking on our call. I know it's late, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, very well. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week, Wednesday at 9.
Bye.
All right, bye.